What's up, guys? Here's the prediction for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2 this Saturday, and it's a rematch of a very controversial classic of a heavyweight fight that they had previously where a lot of people thought that Tyson Fury won. But ultimately, the judges scored it as a draw, and now we're revisiting the fight, and hopefully to be another classic. But usually rematches do not go the same way. So in this one, I do obviously see a winner, but I actually see a fighter winning convincingly this time. And both these fighters have faced different opposition before this rematch. Deontay Wilder fought Luis Ortiz the second time. Tyson Fury went on and fought guys like Deontay Wilder, and they show a little bit of differences, but not a whole lot. Especially when we look at Deontay Wilder's fight with Luis Ortiz. What did we exactly learn from Wilder from his Tyson Fury fight? Not a whole lot, other than Wilder kept his punches a lot more tight. Now that's very good, especially with the power that he generates, and he's targeting his punches a lot better because of that. But in that fight, he was getting outboxed up until the finish pretty much. I mean, he was getting frustrated. He winged out a couple right hands out of frustration. It was mainly because Luis Ortiz's defense. He had the perfect formula to fight against the right hand of Deontay Wilder. What Ortiz was doing was, he occupied the lead hand of Wilder the entire fight up until the knockout sequence where he made a big mistake, and for some reason, he allowed Wilder's left hand to get in play. And once that happened, it was pretty much the end of the fight. And the reason for that is, Wilder sets up his right hand off of his left. He's always extending his left hand or throwing jabs just so he can measure for the right hand. He gets the range down, he gets the timing down, he knows where to strike, from which distance, and he becomes super scary when he's able to establish his range. So Luis Ortiz, because he's occupying that lead hand of Wilder, fighting it the whole time and not allowing it to be in play, Luis Ortiz was able to see the right straight of Wilder every single time, and what he did almost every single time was slip on the outside of it. But then at the end of the fight, for some reason, when Deontay Wilder went to extend the left hand again, Luis Ortiz did not occupy it, and he started moving his head. But that doesn't matter if you're moving your head, because what Wilder's trying to do is get a grasp of his range and where he needs to strike with the right straight. He got it down right before the knockout sequence, went in and threw the right straight, and instead of slipping on the outside of it because Luis Ortiz didn't occupy the left hand so he can see the right straight coming, he went to try to block it and got hit right down the center, knocked out. And what we learned about Tyson Fury was, in the Deontay Wilder fight, he wasn't really that mobile, especially compared to when he fought Deontay Wilder. He was power punching a lot more, extending with his right hand. He was throwing a lot of jabs, as he usually does very well, but it was less volume, it seemed like, and more commitment for power punching. And the lack of mobility probably also showed that it might have been a game plan of Tyson Fury to land with authority rather than to finesse his opponent. Now that can mean two things. Either Tyson Fury changes style just a little bit, or he's just adaptable and able to fight in many different ways. And I think the latter is what's actually taking place. But here's the other thing about this. Tyson Fury has changed his corner, changed his training. He's not with some of the same coaches, so that leaves an X factor and a complete unknown about Tyson Fury. We don't know what he's going to do. We don't know how he's going to show up. Changing your training camp and changing your coaches can have a minuscule level of an effect, or it could completely change a fighter's entire game, and we just don't know what's going to happen. Fury seems like a very intelligent fighter, very intelligent guy in general, so I don't think he's going to change anything too much. Although he said he's going to change a lot of things, he said he's predicting a knockout. I think that's just a little bit of mental warfare on his part, but that just leaves a giant unknown. And also, Deontay Wilder still has one-shot knockout power that can KO Tyson Fury whenever he punches him. Can Fury rise from the dead like he did before? Well, he got knocked down twice. One of them right behind the ear, the other one landed a lot more flush and square, and that was one that knocked out Tyson Fury. If he gets tagged, which is most likely going to happen, Deontay Wilder lands on everybody he fights. He lands that right hand at least one time, and I am pretty sure he's going to land it on Fury again. When it's going to happen, how clean it's going to land, it's very hard to tell. Wilder is still not the most technical boxer. He's a lot sharper with the right hand these days, so I do expect him to land it on Fury. Fury has shown a lot of things in that first fight, but the main way he was trying to defend the right hand was duck under it. He keeps a very tall posture when he fights, and he's usually moving around and stuff. But whenever he saw the right hand come at him because he sees the setup, he ducks and uses his shoulder to block, just in case it comes at his head. But twice he got knocked down for doing that because Wilder saw that same pattern, that same defense throughout the entire fight, and able to time it a lot better. But now Wilder, with better precision and tighter punches, I don't think he has to see too many of the same defense from Tyson Fury to eventually land, and that's a lot scarier, right? So I think Fury's going to have to come out there with a little bit more than just one general defense specifically for an attack. I think he has to come up with a couple different things, do a few things differently in preparation for his defense. As an offense, Wilder can slug it out. He can brawl back. He's going to be the more powerful guy, so there's not much for him to lose if Fury starts attacking him with authority. because Wilder will probably oblige and strike back with him, and I know Fury's not going to want to be in that kind of exchange. Now, this is heavyweight boxing, so Fury definitely can have some power to hurt Deontay Wilder if he lands correctly. Wilder at least has shown to have a decent chin. He took some of Ortiz's best shots, did get stunned a bit by Tyson Fury at the end of the fight in their first bout, but it will be pretty hard to see Deontay Wilder getting knocked out in this fight. I can see a knockdown. Like I said, it is heavyweight, so it is definitely a possibility. It won't be too shocking, even if Fury happens to knock out Deontay Wilder by some flurry or something like that. It connects him with a very slick combination, dodging punches in the middle of it, and that ends it with like a hard left hook or something like that and puts down Wilder. I can see something like that happening. Is it likely? Not as likely as Wilder knocking out Tyson Fury with one shot. So that leaves this fight to be extremely unpredictable. It's all going to come down to game planning for Tyson Fury. For Wilder, it comes down to precision and timing and how fast he can adapt inside the fight. For Deontay Wilder, the game plan is not going to be as important as it is for Tyson Fury. On Wilder's side, it's a lot more important to feel out the fight and adapt. For Tyson Fury's side, although that is important, the game planning aspect of it is going to be much more beneficial for him because of his versatile skill set and the many ways he can go about and approach a fight. But he has a different training camp. He looked a little bit different in the Otto Wallin fight. But there's also this. Tyson Fury's father is saying that he is in a lot better shape. He's a lot stronger. He's a lot more solid physically. So he's going to be even sharper in this fight. Again, we just don't know. If that's actually true, that Fury was not in the best shape in the first fight against Deontay Wilder, maybe also because he was coming off a bit of a layoff, had a couple tune-up fights, but right into a Deontay Wilder fight as his first big fight back. That can also have an impact. So there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of X factors, a lot of things that we just don't know, and that makes this fight very, very hard to call. But my prediction for this fight, my gut feeling is saying that Deontay Wilder is going to knock out Tyson Fury, shut the whole thing down, and I could just see Fury being a very good sport about it, giving the credit to Deontay Wilder, and maybe even leaving the sport sometime soon. That is my gut feeling. I've had this feeling ever since the fight got announced. But analytically, I would have to go with Tyson Fury. He has many more ways to win the fight. He's very sharp with a lot of things he does. He was very successful in the first fight, which I thought he won. Can his chin hold up the same way? I don't predict it will. I actually predict that it won't hold up the same. If it happens again, he gets knocked down and rises from the dead again. That's just something we've never seen before, that's just craziness. And it can be true that Tyson Fury was not in the best shape, and he has better experience coming into the rematch now, but he does have a scar over his eye which can open up. I don't think Fury is going to be the kind of guy that would cower away if he gets cut up and bled up again. So my prediction for this fight, I'm going to go with Tyson Fury, and I'm actually going to go by a decision win. Decision wins in boxing is even more unpredictable than trying to predict how a fight is going to go down. But if everything's fair, if everything's logical, I think Tyson Fury should win by a decision. TKO, I can see it. I'm not going to bank on that. I'm not going to put $1 on it unless like the betting odds are crazy. The odds are extremely close. Some of them have him even as both are -110. Some have Wilder as a very, very slight favorite. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. So Tyson Fury to win by KO, TKO, or DQ is a +450. But Deontay Wilder to win by decision is +1,000. And a draw is +2,200. That +2,200 is pretty tempting because you know how boxing is. There's been too many draws. We always talk about how draws should happen more often, but only when they make sense, right? When Triple G versus Canelo went to a draw, when this fight went to a draw the first time, that's not what I'm talking about, and never know with boxing. Seems like there's a lot of things behind the scenes, but I don't think a rematch would go to a draw. I don't think anyone would allow it to be a draw the second time. Those are really, really interesting. Tyson Fury to get knocked down and win is about a +425. There's a lot of very interesting odds on this one. So yeah, I'm going to go with Tyson Fury, and I think he's going to win 8 rounds out of the 12. Pretty convincingly. And I will also predict that Deontay Wilder gets one knockdown on Tyson Fury, and I think it's going to happen early in the fight. And hopefully the winner of this fight fights Anthony Joshua. Whoever it is, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, no matter who wins this fight, it's going to be a mega one with Joshua to show who is actually the best heavyweight in the world. I personally think the winner of this would be considered the best heavyweight, mainly because even though Joshua avenged his loss to Andy Ruiz, he did lose to him, and losses matter, especially to those that claim that they are the best heavyweight in the world when there's 2 other heavyweight champions that are undefeated, and someone in Tyson Fury also beat Vladimir Klitschko, who I would say is Anthony Joshua's biggest win in his career as well, right? But those 2 guys, Wilder and Fury, are undefeated, and they only have a draw against each other. So for now, I'll say the winner of this is the best heavyweight in the world, although it's not by a large margin. Like, Joshua's right behind them. Now, would you say the loser of this would be above Joshua? I don't think so. I will say the winner of this is the best. Joshua will become number 2. The loser of this is number 3. And then Andy Ruiz, I believe, is number 4. There is also Luis Ortiz. But to really establish it, they gotta fight Joshua. It just has to happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed the prediction. If you did, make sure to thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe. My next prediction video for the UFC card is probably going to come up by tomorrow, if not Friday, so be looking out for that. The card isn't that bad, but man, the main event, I cannot wait for that one. Paul Felder versus Dan Hooker is extremely underrated, and the winner of that is definitely going to rise to like a top 7 spot. I think Paul Felder is top 7 right now, though, so this one definitely has some stakes on it. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you then.